Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to day 2 of the inaugural UFANA conference. I began yesterday with a reference to Abraham, friend of God and forefather of the Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, all of whom share a tradition on castigating usury. And some of the other themes that developed yesterday were about the need for bridge building with Catholic and Jewish communities, between Canadian and American institutions, and in matching North American opportunities with Middle Eastern capital. The capital is there, and in unlocking it, we also have to be mindful of the human element, the need to create jobs for those who take the time to learn faith-based finance. And this form of finance is potentially rewarding. As we've seen from the success of the Amana funds in America, one can follow the dictates of the divine and also make a greater investment return. And there's been a lot of mention in this forum so far on Harvard University, given the recent seminar that took place there this weekend. One of the intellectual giants at Harvard was Samuel Huntington, who wrote on the Clash of Civilizations. And ultimately, Islamic finance represents a cooperation rather than a clash of civilizations, a reverse of Huntington's formulation. And with that, I'd like to introduce the 3 chairs for day 2. On my immediate right is Brian Koscak, who's a partner at the law firm of Cassels, Brock and Blackwell. He's been instrumental in the Canadian Islamic finance space, having developed a family of Sharia-compliant mutual funds in Canada. Brian was also instrumental in the development of the S&P TSX 60 Shariah, Canada's first index of Sharia-compliant stocks. He is a fellow writer, and he recently co-authored an article entitled The Development of the Canadian Sukuk Market, which was published in the fall of 2010 in the Collaborative Sukuk Report by Zawya. To his right is Adnan Haider, who's at the Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank, one of the institutions that I think now partly owns the Emirate of Dubai. Adnan works on the bank's fixed income equities and structuring business. He's the co-founder of a Dubai-based investment bank. He has an MBA from the London Business School and a master's from the University of Waterloo, and he's also a qualified CA. And last but not least is Human Sabeti. He's a senior counsel at Allen & Overy's Singapore office, and he's been heavily involved in the global Sukuk market. He has worked on the first global Sukuk for the Malaysian sovereign in 2002 and been involved in numerous Islamic financing since then, including the Sharia-compliant securitization for Tamwil in the UAE, and recently Indonesia's sovereign Sukuk issuance. And he's a member of the Bar of New York, so a truly global person. And with that, I will hand it over to Brian.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2, or welcome to your first day if you're coming today for the first time to UFANA Conference 2010, The Growth and Potential of Islamic Finance. I'd like to congratulate UFANA. There's actually an article in today's National Post that refers to the iFreedom MasterCard, and I understand that there'll be some more press on Saturday's Post if those that are interested. And I mention this only because it is forums like this, and it is media attention, education, information that we need as we develop this this space here in Canada. And in preparing for this and this conference for today, and having my esteemed colleagues here from different parts of the world, I wanted to kind of share with you a little bit about the thinking and why there's 3 co-chairs, for example, as opposed to 1. I personally believe that Sukuk represent a new asset class in Canada. And I've been, for quite a while, promoting and developing that for both government as well as for corporates. And in order to develop this new asset class, just as in Canada we know income trusts were an asset class, people are very curious about it. And what we're trying to accomplish today is trying to demystify Sukuk What is it? How does it work? What's in it for investors, investment banking perspective, for issuers? And in order to do that and develop an international product, you're dealing with not only different regions of the world, Malaysia, as well as the Middle East, and we have representation from both here, as well as the local jurisdiction, Canada, where we're trying to develop it. Even now, there's many jurisdictions in the world that are embracing Islamic finance, even South Korea, which I understand doesn't have a very large Muslim population, but again, it's embracing it as a form of financing. It is what it is. It's a way to access capital. It's been very clear globally that this is more than just a curiosity. It has been growing exponentially in both the Middle East and Malaysia, and it's time that it now kind of lands officially in Canada. And we are very well positioned. I was fortunate enough to travel for 3 weeks last year in the Middle East, and people are very interested in Canada. And Canada represents, with all these oil dollars there, a possible place to put their money in a Sharia-compliant manner. And how Canada fared in our institutions through the credit crisis has been very positive. So it's with that momentum in terms of how we're viewed globally and with what's happened here and the development of this that I think today's conference is very important because we have the chance to move forward and really embrace it. And over the years, I've seen each year there's more and more interest, and it's more than just a curiosity, because what it simply is that there's money available, and how do we access it, and how do we do it in a Sharia-compliant manner? So with that, I'd like to ask Adnan Haider to say a few words in his perspective as we kick off today.
Assalamu alaikum, bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Good morning, everybody. I represent the Middle East side of it on the panel, which is, as you say, the region with the birth of the modern Islamic finance area. In the Middle East, there's various regulatory sort of regimes governing Islamic finance. You have at one extreme in Iran, where the whole environment is based on Islamic finance. There's no conventional banks, to Pakistan having certain regulations of Islamic banking, and then in the Gulf, various countries having various levels of regulation, with Bahrain being fairly regulated. In the United Arab Emirates, there isn't any explicit regulations on Islamic finance, but there's a number of Islamic sort of banks, both pure Islamic banks such as Dubai Islamic Bank, and a number of conventional banks with an Islamic arm such as Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank. From just to give a little bit of background, Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank, it's the third biggest bank in the United Arab Emirates, and is two-thirds owned by the government of Abu Dhabi. What I wanted to do today is also throughout the day share some of the experiences that we have at ADCB on the Islamic side. And from our side, we have the retail operations, and then more on the investment banking and treasury operations, which involves Islamic structured products, Islamic derivatives, primary Sukuk origination, secondary trading, and Islamic funds. So with that experiences, hopefully we can share some of that and just have a discourse of what's happening in the Middle East versus what things we can learn from the Middle East as we develop the North American Islamic finance environment. Thank you.